Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. I see everyone's. I don't know if they can actually chat right now. Looks like chat's disabled.
That's right. Yeah. So thank you for joining us today. We're just going to wait another minute or two to allow some additional folks to join us, and then we'll kick things off.
Yeah, a few people straggling in here at the top of the hour.
Yes. Getting another coffee, making sure they're ready for the next hour.
Should have filled up on a coffee myself here. I'm running low, but that's okay. Got my
I'm working
water
on
too.
my tea. Yeah, that's good. Got to stay hydrated. Although coffee's probably
Yeah,
not the best option
I
for
don't think
that.
coffee is a hydrator.
No, for sure. All right, well, maybe let's kick things off. It's 3 minutes past the top of the hour. So, good morning again. Thank you so much for joining us. We're excited about our topic today. We're going to be discussing everything you need to know to make a decision to migrate to a reliable cloud ERP, whether that be you're moving from a startup accounting solution or perhaps Dynamics Nav or Dynamics GP. So I just want to let you know, make sure everybody's comfortable with the fact that we are recording today's session so that we can publish it and share it out with any folks that aren't able to join us. So to kick things off with, we'll start with some introductions. My name is Sheila Reed. I'm an account executive here at Betach Solutions. I'm also part of the business development team. I've been working with the Microsoft stack for, oh my goodness, 10, 12 years now, spending a lot of time in the CRM space. And in my early days in the Microsoft stack, I actually spent a lot of time in Dynamics GP, and then now focused primarily on Business Central in the cloud. That's me. Over to you, Nick.
Hey, thanks, Sheila. Yeah, so my name is Nicholas Bilodeau. Um, I'm on our sales team here at Betach Solutions, but due to my accounting past, I've decided to shift gears into the Business Central world. So my hat's in both worlds right now, but I'll be speaking a little bit more on Business Central in terms of I'll be running the demo that we're going to show you today. And yeah, I'm excited for this presentation and walking you through the system a little bit later.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. So just before we get started, a little bit about Betach Solutions. We're not just a technology partner. We think of ourselves more as your trusted advisor. We're a Microsoft Gold partner and systems integrator, and our sole focus really is primarily on all of the Microsoft Cloud service offerings. We build solutions that really enable a first-class user experience. Betach has been in business for just over 18 years. Actually, I think we're heading into our 19th year now, and has proven experience in implementing dozens of Business Central Cloud implementations. We're proud to say that we are Dynamics 365 platform experts, and we've earned a strong reputation not only within our client base, but within the Microsoft community as well, one of integrity, trust, and professionalism. And we've done so really by fully committing to helping our customers make the most out of their technology investments. So in the short time we have together today, we're going to be discussing telltale signs you've outgrown your startup accounting solution. Why make the move from some of the legacy solutions like Microsoft Dynamics Nav and Dynamics GP? We'll talk about how to make that move to the cloud. And then, as Nick mentioned, he'll share some of his favorite highlights of Business Central. We'll wrap things up with some Q&A, and we promise to make it exciting for you with some polls along the way today.
Yeah, to wake you up a little bit along the way.
Exactly. Get that coffee going. So just a quick little housekeeping, a few items here. We've muted all participants for the duration of the presentation. We will open that up at the end of the session. Strongly encourage you to post any questions you have regarding the material that we're discussing today. Please use the webinar Q&A panel, and we can address any questions that come up and provide you with some answers at the end of the session. We'll also be sharing a quick 2-minute survey after the webinar today, and we strongly encourage you to share your feedback, because the only way we can get better and offer the kind of content you're looking for these types of sessions is if you share that with us. And we also encourage you to follow us on social. You know, we're all over the place. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and that's a great way to stay up to date with what's going on here at Betach, what's new. All right, we promised excitement, so let's kick things off with the very first poll. Nick is going to help us out with Polly. So the question is your organization already using cloud applications? So the answers available to you are not at all, just getting started, mostly, but not your financials, or are you completely in the cloud? So we'll just give everybody a few minutes to answer that for us. Maybe not a few minutes. I don't think we need that much time, but a little bit of time anyways.
I see we've got 1 vote so far.
All right.
Oh, 2 votes.
Okay, good. I was going to say maybe we need to offer some kind of incentive, a prize to participate in these questions.
That's not a bad idea. Okay, so I see we've got 2 still. I'm not sure if we want to wait a little bit longer. But so far
Let's go for it.
We got 1 vote for C, mostly, but not financials, and we've got a second one for D, so completely in the cloud. So we've got someone who's made the move already, and we've got someone that is almost there. But it's interesting to see that there's no one. Oh, Diane can't. On the top, do you see the little parrot? I'm not sure if you have that view across the top there. There's also a pop-up too, so I'm not sure if everybody got the pop-up. You may have to enable permissions.
All right. Well, interesting. Anyways, you know, not surprising that individuals are still a little bit gun shy about moving your financials to the cloud, and that's understandable.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Diane.
All right. So, you know, we found actually that there are many reasons why organizations consider moving to the cloud. One of, you know, the biggest one, most current really is, you know, there's a big change in the way people work with the start of the pandemic. Remote work created the immediate need for a shift in digital transformation, and organizations really had to explore the cloud so that their staff had the resources and tools available to them at any time from anywhere so that they could continue to effectively do their jobs. That was a big one. We also see extensive benefits from enhanced ERP functionality. And for many organizations, that's enough of an incentive to make that shift to the cloud. And then, you know, finally, cloud is becoming the new norm. And organizations really need to find ways to achieve cost efficiency. Business continuity is big. And then, of course, mobility. The mobility you get from using cloud ERP solutions is significant. So, has your organization outgrown its startup accounting solution? We'll start there today. You know, we see several startup solutions that work very well for many organizations and provide a ton of functionality until your business gets to the point where it's evolved and outgrown the solution. And the solutions we see many organizations outgrowing are QuickBooks, both the on-premise version and the online solution. We see Simply Accounting, FreshBooks, Xero. Those are just some examples of what's out there. And you'll notice, you know, as your business evolves, you'll quickly recognize that that startup solution may not offer you that additional functionality you need to support the growth. So, what does outgrowing your startup accounting solution look like? Well, I mean, it's safe to say that you've outgrown your startup solution when you're no longer able to achieve the level of reporting or perhaps even some enhanced functionality like inventory management or even multi entity management. So, if those are areas that your business it requires, then certainly maybe it is time to make that shift. So top example is your organization has more than one entity. Managing financials from each entity or separate business locations, for example, at month end can be frustrating and extremely time consuming with a lot of the startup solutions. It's difficult to understand how each entity is performing and where the labor intensive tasks are spent in trying to gather that reporting information and getting that real-time access to data at your fingertips. Another limitation is not being able to share vendors across multiple entities. So for example, with many startup solutions, if you have one invoice that needs to go out to 4 different companies, that really ends up being 4 separate transactions, which is, again, labor intensive. So then we take a look at third-party apps and add-ons that are maybe no longer up to the task. A lot of startup solutions don't offer that needed enhanced functionality, like I mentioned, inventory management. So organizations have to consider third-party applications or add-ons to potentially fill that gap. Others, maybe they're developing customizations or integrations with third-party solutions to patch the holes, which then they discover there could be bugs with those integrations, or the integrations just aren't robust enough so that data doesn't sync properly in between the two systems, which can lead to compatibility issues, especially with upgrades. So you tend to end up with a solution that maybe is pieced together and somewhat unreliable. And then finally, enhanced reporting capabilities are required. We have found that out of the box reporting in a lot of the startup solutions is often limited. And so users tend to spend a lot of time collecting and trying to interpret that data without any real-time insights that organizations really truly need to make better informed decisions. So, growing beyond your startup accounting solution, and you have to ask yourself that question: have I really outgrown my solution? And if so, perhaps it's time to consider Business Central in the cloud to enhance your operations and drive that real-time business value. Business Central really takes the best of traditional ERP and some light CRM functionality and combines them into one super valuable tool. Migrating from Business Central from startup solutions enables businesses to operate more efficiently and create reports more efficiently as well. And that's really where you're getting the data that you need to make those real-time business decisions. So if you've outgrown your startup solution, migrating to Business Central in the cloud is really the next logical step. You should consider to obtain the tools that you need to support evolving reporting, financial, operational needs of your growing business. Okay, we promised we would keep things exciting. Poll number 2. So
Poll
let's
number
find
2.
out, which accounting solution do you use today? Is it QuickBooks, Simply Accounting, Dynamics Nav, Dynamics GP, or is there another one out there that you use, maybe some of the others I mentioned earlier?
So the poll is now live. Oh, here we're getting some votes. So we got one for GP and we've got one for other.
Okay. Maybe we'll just wait another few seconds.
Yeah. So it looks like not everybody has access to Poly because of some administrative reasoning.
Okay.
So feel free to answer A, B, C, D, or E in the chat if you'd prefer.
Good point, Nick. Yeah, that's helpful
Oh,
too. And I assume you're managing the chat window? I'm good at
I
multitasking, but I don't know if I can take that much on
am.
today.
No, I am as we speak. So it looks like we've got, one for QuickBooks, we got one for GP, one for other, and then in the chat we've got one more. Oh, looks like two for Dynamics GP and one more for E. So it looks like we're geared a little more towards Dynamics GP and some other accounting softwares. And now there's just so many on the market, as we know, especially those startup accounting solutions. Like Xero, I think, is another popular one that a lot of people use that I've seen. Yeah, so I'll give it a few more seconds here.
It is good to see a variety out there, though.
Hmm.
And so we've got some good information in store, especially for the GP users, that of some new licensing promos that Microsoft is offering. So, bit of an incentive there. All right, let's carry on. So let's talk a little bit about why make the move from Nav to Business Central. We see many organizations currently using Nav, making that move to BC in the cloud for a number of reasons. Business Central brings rich functionalities and greater flexibility across many areas within the application, including accounting itself, of course, but sales, marketing, financial management, or even other organizational processes. Business Central is much more user friendly than its predecessor Nav. It's easier to customize to fit any unique business needs. And as I mentioned, Microsoft is offering a significant discount. They're heavily discounting licenses right across the board for anybody moving from an existing Microsoft on-prem solution to
Hmm.
Business Central in the cloud. So, like, I think it's as much as $50 per user off the standard license. So it's incredible.
A lot of incentives right now.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits of moving from Nav to Business Central. Right off the top, enhanced security with Microsoft Cloud. Cybersecurity is top of mind, especially when it comes to protecting data in today's world. We've seen a number of instances where those hackers, they're busy. They've got a job to do to disrupt the many businesses. So the Microsoft Cloud is synonymous with security and stability both. And let's not be shy to say Microsoft is an industry leader when it comes to protecting, detecting, and even responding to those cyber threats. We have access to more than 3,000 Microsoft security, cybersecurity experts. So your team, your IT team, can actually focus on other things without having to worry about managing servers. And then we look at better value long term. Although Nav on-prem may appear to be less expensive, there is better long-term value with cloud solutions. You no longer have infrastructure costs to worry about. There aren't any expensive servers that you need to maintain. Or, I mean, the big one is upgrades. There's no cost to upgrade the solution. Moving from Nav to Business Central in the cloud is really the last upgrade that you're going to have to pay for. And that's because those upgrades happen automatically and regularly with no additional cost to your organization. So that saves significant money in the long term. And you have that sense of security of always knowing you're going to be on the latest version, which is, I sleep better at night. I don't know about you, Nick.
Well, I think the analogy I love seeing is the make the pizza at home with all the ingredients versus, ordering the takeout pizza. Would you rather someone, manage all that and you still have the delicious taste of takeout pizza? I don't know. I think that's the route we're heading when it comes to, cloud solutions in general, not just ERP systems. But
I
yeah,
agree.
it's a great analogy that I love using.
You must be hungry.
It's not quite lunchtime.
And then we get into modernization and greater availability. Business Central has a very modern, intuitive look and feel, and provides a user-friendly user experience while offering many benefits to your organization as well, from enhanced reporting capabilities to high availability. Microsoft guarantees their 99.9% availability, and enhanced disaster recovery as well. So Business Central can be accessed anywhere from any web-enabled device, giving users that flexibility that they need to work no matter where they're located. And that's increasingly valuable in today's world for sure. We also have enhanced functionality and app availability. So Nav truly laid the foundation for Business Central. Business Central is actually built on the core functionality of Nav. And now we have all these new apps and add-ons that are being added to AppSource regularly, probably almost daily. There's new apps introduced into AppSource. So you can continue to expand out that functionality to meet your unique business needs in Business Central, which was never something you could do within Nav. And then finally, we have improved decision making with business insights. With Business Central, organizations can embrace the benefits of machine learning and AI, artificial intelligence, and it enables you to become more efficient in your daily operations and reduce those labor-intensive manual processes. We work with customers every day, and one of the biggest asks is, how do I get rid of these spreadsheets upon spreadsheets? With the Power Platform, which includes Power BI, Power Automate, and Power Apps. That gives you better and more accurate reporting data to make those business decisions much faster. That information is available at your fingertips. Business Central seamlessly integrates with Power BI, and Power BI is really cool. Nick's going to show you a couple of reports in the demo. It's a very visual solution, and for me, I'm a very visual person. I prefer to digest my data in graphs and charts and maps and things like that. So Power BI allows us to put all that data into one central location for you.
No spoilers there, Sheila.
All right, I won't give away your secrets. So what's next? Growing beyond Dynamics Nav, the idea of implementing a new financial solution is intimidating. We get that. We understand. It's a big undertaking, and quite honestly, we find many organizations simply would rather avoid it. But there are many reasons why you should consider moving to the cloud, and the Betach team is here to help you. We'll work with you to assess your current environment and determine the best approach for your cloud migration. That might look different than a colleague's or a friend or spouse's organization. That's something unique to you. And our team of Business Central experts will support you every step of the way to make sure that you are up and running successfully with your new cloud-based ERP. Okay, last poll. We're just curious to find out what your average time is to close a fiscal period. We always find the responses to this one are all over the board. So let's see what we've got today. So the answers are less than a week, 8 to 10 days. Is that more than 2 weeks? Or is that even more than a month? And let's hear what people have to say.
So we got one vote in so far for more than a month.
Okay.
It's almost like play by play here. Oh, we got one vote for 8 to 10 days and
Wow.
another vote for more than 2 weeks. So more than
Okay.
2 weeks, less than a month.
Interesting. Okay. And so sometimes, when we see that it takes more than a month to close a fiscal period, there could be many reasons for that. But that's something that more automation and improved business processes potentially could assist and get you maybe down to that 8 to 10 day range.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I'm just going to close the poll here.
Thanks for your help, Nick.
No worries.
Okay, let's talk a little bit now about moving from Dynamics GP to Dynamics 365 Business Central in the cloud. GP has come to the end of its product life cycle. That's not anything new for the world today. So many organizations are taking that opportunity and taking the plunge to move into Business Central in the cloud. It really truly is the next natural step. Business Central provides that added functionality, and it's flexible enough to grow with your business as your organization continues to evolve. And one of the biggest reasons, I guess, I mentioned it earlier with the NAV transition, is that huge licensing discount for orgs looking to move from on-premise into the cloud. So what are the benefits of moving from GP to Business Central? So we'll chat about this a little bit. First off the top, updates are automatic and cost effective. Updates deliver enhanced functionality. And one thing you need to understand is that you are given plenty of time, though, for testing before that update is automatically pushed over into your production environment. And these updates are at no additional cost to your organization. You never have to wonder if your solution is up to date. And again, you have that peace of mind knowing that you're always running the latest version. GP support, unfortunately, has a looming end date. And if you're on an older version, the only way you can maintain that support is to upgrade to the most current version. And as the GP users are aware, updates for GP are expensive. So it just might be time to take the plunge and bite the bullet. Second benefit would be, it's time to reap the benefits of the cloud. Make use of the most up-to-date technology available to you and the functionality that's included in that. And I've mentioned before, it's one less thing your already too busy IT team has to manage. And for some smaller organizations, they don't have an IT team that's dedicated to manage these types of applications. Your IT team won't have to worry about server maintenance. All of the Microsoft experts, because Business Central is in the cloud, the Microsoft experts take care of that for you. And you have access to Microsoft support as well. GP is a legacy on-premise system that is very cumbersome and expensive to maintain for continuous upgrades and even integration. It's not super integration friendly as well. So I think one of the biggest benefits really is the continuous enhancements and improvements. Microsoft is no longer investing any research and development dollars into Dynamics GP. So aside from not getting the benefits that come with continuous enhancements, we see several risks associated with running outdated legacy software. Microsoft invests literally millions of dollars in research and development for enhancements and improvements to Business Central. That is their main focus today. So, you get the most out of your technology investment.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have enhanced ERP accessibility. Business Central is cloud-based, which means that users can securely access the application from anywhere on a web-enabled device, which gives users, they have an opportunity to gain essential access into your ERP, which maybe could happen as a result of a natural disaster as well, maybe a fire or a flood, or the availability of Business Central just through a web browser compared with GP is there is no comparison really. The enhanced accessibility of in the cloud is especially convenient in the wake of the pandemic today, with so many people needing to access and work remotely. And we don't see much of a change with that. I mean, the trends are indicating that many organizations will continue to offer a hybrid environment of some days at work, some days working from home. Anything to add there, Nick?
No, I just think you're alluding to a lot of things I'm gonna mention, especially around reaping the benefits of the cloud, as well as, the increased opportunity for productivity with just within Business Central, but also, using Business Central with some of the other Microsoft suite. But I don't want to give too much away right now. I think we're getting close to demo time, so.
We are
Uh,
the best
so
time.
so hope you're on the edge of your seat here before I start that up.
I know I am. So the last benefit, of course, Nick alluded to that, is increasing productivity. Business Central is very modern. It's easy to use and super intuitive, and those are some of the things that Nick is going to highlight. It is designed to match other Microsoft applications, so we found that user adoption is much easier and it requires less training. Business Central is user friendly, easy to navigate. One of my favorite features is you can actually export data into Excel, making day-to-day activities much simpler, giving way to increased productivity. And I won't give away too much of what you're going to show. So what's next? How can we help? If you're ready to grow beyond Dynamics GP and you want to start reaping the benefits of Business Central in the cloud, our expert team will work with you to help you decide your best path forward. And again, I can't stress that enough. There is no cookie cutter. Not every business is the same. And so we have to work with you to understand what your business looks like. The Betach team has proven experience in helping organizations with their digital transformation journey. So we want to ensure that your migration goes as smoothly as possible. We have many tried, tested, and true best practices, so you don't have to worry about how that looks. All right, enough of my voice. I'm going to pass things over to Nick now. He's going to take control.
I'm
And
gonna just turn off my camera quickly here.
okay,
Just to make sure we're optimizing the bandwidth here. So I'm gonna take control now. So it might take a little second to populate. So everyone's got to let me know once they're able to see my screen. How does that look, Sheila?
looks good, Nick. Yeah, I can see
Looks
it.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now that we've had a chance to discuss, who should be looking to migrate to Business Central, and some of the whys. I mean, there's just too many whys, I think, in the digital age here and promoting modern work. I wanted to take some time, as you know, to show you the actual system, right? Because we've talked a lot about it, but let's actually see it. So sadly, with the time I have today, I can't show you all the feature-rich functionalities of Business Central and all the capabilities. So I've decided to, pick a few of my favorite features within Business Central, some of which are actually unique to the system itself. So without further ado, the first thing I wanted to show you was actually the homepage. No, not because I'm lazy and it's the first thing you see when you log into Business Central, but actually because it's quite intuitive and quite intelligent. As you can see there, it's capable of knowing what time of day it is. So it's going to greet me, "Good morning, Nicholas." And if you log in at night, it's going to say good evening. That's one of the features there that I find kind of interesting. But actually, more so the actual content that you see in the homepage. So when you log in, the homepage is going to give you a snapshot of everything that's relevant to your role. So unlike other systems, Business Central is role based. The experience when you log in is based off of your role at the company and the permissions that you're assigned. Now, you can assign different roles. A lot of people have different access because we know that in some of the smaller, medium-sized businesses, a lot of business people, and users wear different hats. Completely okay. I wear a couple hats here at Betach. So you can have a couple of roles assigned to you. But really, what this homepage is aiming to do is when you log in, you're able to understand right away what's going on, you know, based off of your role. So right now I'm in the business manager role. Business manager roles, that's for someone who is a CEO, a president, a sole proprietor, someone that needs that full end-to-end view of the company. So when I scroll down here, it's going to give me some highlights, right? Okay, sales this month, $10,000, great. Now I want to track, okay, what's going on in the sales department? What's going on in the purchasing department? How's my cash conversion cycle looking in terms of collecting payments here? And all these tiles here, fully personal, personalizable, customizable. Um, I can move these. I can add more fields if needed, but I'm not going to do that right now. So if I scroll down, Sheila, I believe you touched on it a little bit, but Business Central actually has some reporting tools baked into it natively. Um, Under the insights section here. So right now, hey, these are my top 5 customers by sales value. That might be something that I feel is important to me. So I want to see that on the homepage, right? There's some other charts here, sales trends, right? Also, maybe there's some accounts that I want to track. So I don't want to be clicking through Business Central to get there. Maybe I just want to see that right away. So anything on this homepage is customizable. Another thing is, hey, I can see a trial balance in real time right away. When I log in, I don't need to, run a report. That trial balance is up to date and it's real time for me right there. Now, here's another cool element. These Power BI reports. So, Sheila, you mentioned Power BI a little bit earlier, but as you know, Microsoft is the only company that is providing a full end-to-end solution. So Power BI is just part of that end-to-end solution. Power BI is that custom reporting visualization tool. Um, so say for instance, I need a little more than the native out of the box reports that are in Business Central. What Power BI does is it allows me to build reports in Power BI that are, focused to my business, that are tailored to my business, and I can bring them into Business Central. So these are all being pulled from Power BI.
I love the visual effect of Power BI.
Yeah, cool stuff, right? So as you can see here, there's different places that I can click into easily and navigate to in the homepage, but all these are geared towards the business manager. So within Power BI, oh, sorry, one last thing I did want to show you is, you see how I've got the Lego up here? That's another thing you can do. So I guess it's February. I'm not sure if everyone's in Calgary here, but we're having some beach weather, it seems like recently. But you can change that as as you want to. So totally up to you. So I've mentioned it already. Business Central is role based. So when I come here to my settings, there's a couple of things I can do. So one, I can actually switch companies if I've got different entities. Sheila, you mentioned that at the top of the demo. Right now, we don't have more than one entity set up in this sandbox. But if you do, it's easy to switch. And it also makes those related party transactions so much easier. And as I mentioned, so it's role based. Look at all the different roles that are native out of the box. So this is for that tailored experience. But there's another important thing about role-based experiences that you should think about. It's not just about having the look and feel that's, easier for you to do your job. It's also crucial when it comes to internal controls, controlling who has access to what, who is seeing the information, one, that's they need to see, but also making sure they're not seeing things that they're not supposed to see. So that's another added benefit of role-based experience. So I'm just going to pop into the sales and relationship manager here and show you that look. So it's going to take a little bit of time to load. And I'm just going to talk about it a little bit here. So as Sheila also mentioned, yes, Business Central performs all of the ERP functions that you'd want, but it also has light CRM capabilities. So see how the homepage has changed based off of this role and what my taskbar looks like. Also notice that my activity tiles have changed, and you can see that even from a glance, I can have that look at my contacts, opportunities, and sales. Also see how my insights have changed. I don't necessarily need to see the top 5 customers, or I believe it was the cash conversion cycle, because I'm in a sales role. What I care about is, what's my pipeline look at? Where are my leads in terms of, initial phase, or maybe they've moved to that opportunity phase, and I've got to track, okay, how much in that presentation phase, as well as, hey, my top opportunities. There's also the option to pull in some sales specific Power BI reports if this isn't enough for your organization. And another cool thing I wanted to show. So you see sales quotes up here. So yes, the entire sales process is easily performed in Business Central. And in this role, perhaps the sales manager needs access to the ERP system to see some other pieces. But what you can also do is work right here in Outlook. So I've just closed it there, but if I come here, I can actually work within Outlook. Because as I mentioned, Microsoft, the only company that offers a full end-to-end solution, and thus the integration between its products are seamless. So look at how intelligent this is. I got an email from Nicholas Bilodeau, one of those clients that's a nuisance from Betach Solutions. And he's looking for, a quote for blue London swivel chairs and an Antwerp conference table. So one, the solution is smart enough to realize, okay, this is BTAC Solutions. Here's some key customer statistics you might want to know. There's 9 ongoing sales quotes, so they've been coming to us, quite a bit lately. But the coolest thing that I love is I don't necessarily need to be in Business Central at all. So when we mentioned increased productivity, as a sales rep especially, I may not even need access to the ERP system. I live in Outlook here. So right here for the new document, I can create a sales quote. right? And when I click create a sales quote, it's going to bring me to this staging um, opportunity. And it's an opportunity where I can check and make sure that the system is, correctly reading the email. And what's great too is rather than going down to the having to find, the product lists and items right in Business Central, it's smart enough to actually read it and pull what it thinks, these items are. And it actually did pretty good there. It just needs a correction, but it gives you the opportunity to correct that. And all I have to do is select these boxes, click the check mark, and it's going to create that sales quote. Pretty cool, right? So from here, the rest of the sales process can continue. Whether there's an approval process. So another cool thing with Business Central is you can create workflows. So say I'm a sales rep. Um, I'm allowed to make sales quotes, but before they can go to a sales order, say they need to be reviewed by my sales manager. So what could happen is once this is generated, it can be sent to the sales manager for approval. Now that's not just on the sales side of things. That can be in your purchasing process, anywhere where approvals are needed, even journal entries if those need to be reviewed. Anything that you could set up a workflow on, you really can in Business Central. So that's what Outlook integration looks like. And I find it to be one of the coolest pieces um, with Business Central.
Me
The
too.
next thing, yeah,
I
the
love that
next,
functionality. And maybe I'll just quickly add to Nick is that
yeah,
users, if their primary goal or their routine is to work within Outlook, they don't need a Business Central license. So
yeah,
those users aren't required full access, and you probably don't want your sales guys, quite honestly, in your ERP system. So they don't have to pay for a license to do that.
e- exactly. Now, I wanted to show you quickly here because I see we're getting close on time. Um, I guess the last thing I want to show you, and it's another integration, and it's something that Sheila you alluded to earlier, and it's the Excel integration.
One of my
So
faves.
one of the best ones. So when I come here and I go to my customers, but before that, let's set the table of, an example. So say I've been monitoring my cash conversion cycle. I'm noticing that, hey, we're not receiving our cash early enough. And you know what? Maybe it's time for a process change. So when I come to my customer list, I click into the customer card. Now imagine you've got hundreds of customers, one. So this is a sandbox. We've got, I think, 6 or 7 set up. And my current policy is, okay, payment term code is 60 days. So they've got 60 days to pay. So what I can do is I can edit on each individual card like this. If I want to go 30 days, I can do that. Or what I can do, I'm just going to keep it 60 days, is I can actually, if I go back to my customer list, if I come up here, there's a few options. One, I can open in Excel. What this does is it's essentially just downloading that data into Excel and the connection ends there, but it allows you to do some, reporting, pivot tables, etc. You can also share to teams, which will share this list to teams. But the one I want to show you is at Excel. So I've already opened it, but if I click that, it's going to bring me to an Excel that looks like this. So I've already filtered this just for time's sakes, but as you can see here, each of our customers are set up with a payment terms code of 60 days. So what I can do is I'm just going to change that to 30 days because let's shorten it up a bit. And all I do is I edit here and copy and paste right in Excel. And if I come over here into the right side, so this is the integration with Dynamics. If I just click publish, give it some time. So 7 changes. So workbook has been updated. If I exit out of here and I say go back into, let's say the datum one again, it was 60 days. It's now updated to 30. So that back and forth is occurring, in real time in Excel. So this is just one example of how Excel can be used. The whole idea is you're saving time, making those big changes in Excel, using the power of Excel to to increase productivity when it comes to managing large lists. And if you've got, a great knowledge in the Excel shortcuts, then bully to you. That's awesome. It's just going to make your life so much easier within Business Central. So sadly, that's all I've got time to show you today. I don't know if you wanted to add anything there, Sheila, about Excel integration, but that's all I've got for everybody.
Yeah, no, I really don't. But as I mentioned, that is one of my most favorite features in Business Central. It's a huge time saver. When we talk about increasing productivity, making a change like that takes seconds versus opening the card, manually changing it, going back, back and forth. So I think that's a super game changer for a lot of people. All right, that's all the content that we had to share with you today. So let's, at this point, then just unmute everybody. Nick, you are the keeper of the meeting. If you want to just unmute everybody and give everybody an opportunity to provide their feedback. Do you have any questions? I don't see any in the chat window. So maybe everybody's just saving the best for last.
Yeah, and you might be able just to unmute yourself too, because I'm seeing it looks like I've got the option to disable mics. Maybe if someone could try quickly.
Hi, this is Kathy.
Hey,
Hi,
Kathy.
Kathy.
Hey, I did put something in the chat, but that's fine.
Oh.
Can you give multiple roles to somebody, or say for our accounts payable person, she does accounts payable, but she's also looks at inventory. She also does looks at the accounts receivable because she oversees that. So would that be each role is clearly defined, but I guess I'm just wondering how that works.
Yeah, great question. And I guess I'll take the stab at this one, Sheila. You can add anything too. So yes, you can. Another way to think about it too is there are roles where a lot of that like those abilities are already enabled. And then another thing that I forgot to mention is permissions can be customized. So it depends. Essentially, that role is, that's just a generic role, and it can be refined in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I wish I had set up a workflow to show you. That's one of the coolest things, and that's one of the biggest things we've been hearing, is when we help people get off of NAV and in GP, those workflows, so approval workflows are something that are really neat.
Yeah, for sure. And that can apply across the board,
Mm-hmm.
for purchasing approval, invoicing approvals. You can set up your own, whatever you desire, whether that's a threshold by dollar amount or each and every transaction, those workflows can be incorporated to help automate the process. And then the approval goes one step further. Again, you don't need an actual Business Central license to be an approver. So I can approve a purchase or an invoice from my mobile device. So that's pretty
that
cool too.
was mobile. Mobile sadly is too hard to demo, but that is cool too. There is the mobile app, and you can perform a lot of the functionality just from anywhere.
Yeah, I
So in
agree.
terms of access to the system, I think that was one of the points in the slideshow. It's essentially wherever you can get an internet connection.
Yep.
So the Outlook integration and Business Central, that was really cool. We have a sales guy who's always on the road, and he's always going through. So we have it set up that he goes through CRM and can view all of our parts inventory. So is that something that almost would be that he could go in through his Outlook and look at all of the inventory and the pricing?
I'm not sure about inventory. I mean, he certainly would have access to the product catalog, like Nick showed you there. The system is intuitive enough to try to pull that down. We'd have to explore the exact business requirements necessary to give access to that functionality or that accessibility into Business Central. Are you currently using Dynamic Sales as your CRM tool, Kathy?
No, we're
Okay.
it's called Engage.
Okay.
It's
I was just gonna.
the Microsoft product that is, it's the 365 CRM. right now that we're using.
Okay.
And we've
So,
just added that. Yeah.
all right, because there are integration capabilities from within the Dynamics sales application that tie directly into Business Central as well. So you can enable that so that they can, within CRM, actually generate quotes and see that sales process flow, again, without accessing Business Central directly. But they would have access to the product catalog and potentially inventory. I don't know. Let's take that offline and get back to you on that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for your questions. Any other questions from anybody else?
Hi, it's Arlene. What
Arlene.
modules, I know you guys are aware of this, but we have quite a fit with Great Plains GP. We had to do a lot of external modules, or not modules, but, external
Add-ons?
add-ons. So
Mhm.
what are you finding with people that move online? What do they need to add? I know that
Well,
Central has a lot of stuff, but what do they need to add that's just for our consideration?
do you want to take
I
that, Nick, or do you want me to
yeah,
do that?
well, you can maybe add some.
Chime in.
I think
Okay.
I think the biggest thing we see is the HR and payroll modules. So Business Central, it's got light functionality, but really that's something that needs to be an add-on. I would say, I mean, not sure about you, Sheila, but I think that's the most common thing that needs to be added on to Business Central.
Yep. And when we take a look at legacy GP, the biggest one that we see in customers moving from GP over is that they've had to manage inventory outside the system.
Mm.
And, a lot of the functionality that customers have used in the past is now incorporated as out-of-the-box functionality in Business Central. So there is no need, there's potentially no need, I should say, for additional applications or third-party integrations. So I think the most important thing for you to think about is to ensure that your partner does a bit of a discovery and understands your business from start to finish, and then truly, helps you build that solution design so that you understand what is included out of the box functionality in Business Central and what is not, and where do we fill those gaps. Sometimes it's with a third party or an app source app. Sometimes it's utilizing the Power Platform, where we are, building functionality specific to meet your business requirements. So there's definitely some options.
Yeah,
So can I just ask a question about the inventory? When you looked at the example you were using, Nicholas, was parts, right? Can we talk can you do in the box inventory regarding equipment that has serial numbers and tools that have serial numbers and stuff like that? Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Definitely.
All right, we're getting close to the top of the hour here. Any other questions? They say silence is golden, but I don't know sometimes.
I think Luke on our team likes to say that it's compliance, right? Isn't that what he always says to me? Or is that just
Yes, no, he does say that. All right, well, if there aren't any additional questions, let's wrap things up today. Just want to say a big thank you for spending time with us to learn more about making the move to Business Central. And I hope we helped you understand better, how to take that step, and highlighted certainly why Betach Solutions would be the right trusted advisor to work with you in your digital transformation journey to the cloud. We are experts in the D365 platform, which includes Business Central. We want to work together and help your organization save some money while boosting your productivity and collaboration amongst your team members. And so feel free to connect with us at any time, and we can book a discovery call with our team. Thanks so much for joining us, and thanks, Nick, for being my partner in crime.
Yeah, it was a pleasure having this presentation with everybody. I had a lot of fun.
Good.
Breaks up my day a little bit from the menial stuff.
Great.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you're
Bye.
welcome. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.